Where's God? Just stop, maybe pause and take a moment and consider that question. Where's God? Now, I'm not going to try and list any answers for you. But maybe in thinking about that question, where's God, it causes you to reflect on your own life about times where maybe you for yourself have encountered God. Perhaps if you don't call yourself a Christian, you might be thinking, well, I haven't. But I suspect you have, and maybe through this talk you'll recognise ways in which you might have done. Recently I was listening to some music and a great song came on the radio. It was by a band called U2 and it's called I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. And I was singing along and then suddenly I felt really guilty because Christians are supposed to have found what they're looking for. After all, isn't that what we as Christians are always banging on about? That we found God. But the truth is, I'm still on a quest. And mostly it isn't about the spectacular. It's not about lightning in the sky or some big sign from God. Mostly for me, it's the little things. Sometimes quiet things, sometimes seemingly ordinary moments when we can feel God's presence. This week I went over to Bournemouth. I had a meeting and I was particularly early, so I decided to go for a walk. I ended up on Branksome Chime, a stunning beachfront with views of Old Harry Rock and then over to the other side, Hengistbury Head. The sun was shining, so I sat on a bench for a little while and ate my sandwich. Something happened. It's what I call a God moment, if you will. As the sun warmed my face, I admired the amazing view. I watched kids playing football and laughing. There were people swimming and paddling on paddle boards, lots of people running, lots of people cycling. There were people walking their dogs, both young and old. Nearby was a hut selling ice cream and people were treating themselves. For a brief moment, everything seemed right with the world. And in that moment, to be honest, I didn't have a piece of scripture in my head, but I did look at this amazing creation, the vast expanse of the sea, the hills of the Purbecks, and I observed so many people all enjoying just being there. And I thought to myself, God did this. You see, for me, it's often those quiet, ordinary moments of life that I sense something beyond myself. Where's God? Well, sometimes he's in a familiar song or a walk on the beach. Perhaps this week you might start each day with that question in your mind. Where's God? And I'm sure that if you start each day with that question, I believe there's going to be times when you're going to see God reveal himself to you, often in very simple things, like he did for me at Branscombe Chime.